There is a ton of smoke around a five-star tight end that is currently committed to UGA. That's right, the back-to-back two-time national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Landen Thomas visited FSU over the weekend for their spring showcase. Today, we'll tell you why that's important, what's going on, and we'll make a prediction after speaking to a few folks close to the recruitment. Let's jump right into it. Florida State had a phenomenal weekend on the recruiting trail. A couple of guys shut it down. A couple of blue chips committed. They got closer and set official visits with other guys. We're going to recap all of that later, and we'll keep giving you that information on the channel. So make sure that you're tuned in and locked in. But let's talk about the five-star committed to Georgia and what's going on. We had a good weekend. There will be fireworks that will continue to come from Florida State's recruiting efforts this weekend. But on Thomas specifically, this is big. Thomas is a 6'4", 240-pound tight end out of Moultrie, Georgia. Again, currently committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. Interestingly enough, he was committed to FSU's current staff previously, and there is a great relationship there. He has been on campus a ton at Florida State. He's got incredible movement for his size, a 6'6" wingspan. He's very, very impressive. We're going to talk about more of him as a prospect a little bit later, but here's the latest on his recruitment. Thomas, though being a commit to UGA, did not show up to their G-Day, did not show up to their Georgia spring game. Instead, he showed up to Florida State. Shout out Noles 247 for getting that scoop and letting fans know that that was expected. And then obviously it was confirmed that Thomas was there in Tallahassee for the spring game on Saturday. They also interviewed him later after the spring game, and here was a quote that he gave to Noles 247 Zach Blostein. "I really feel like he wants to coach me and I want to be coached by him." That's Thomas talking about head coach Mike Norvell. That's an insane comment, but just before I tell you why and what, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Garnet and Gold. I went by there this weekend. I got an awesome vault throwback type shirt of Bobby Bowden. It's the undefeated 93 t-shirt. You can get it right now for 15% off by using code NOSLAW. That's NOSLAW for 15% off of that shirt and any of their great products. GarnetandGold.com, whether in Tallahassee or not, shop online. They'll ship it anywhere in the U.S. You usually get it in just a couple of days. They've got great shipping, great customer service. Appreciate going by there when I'm in town. Appreciate their support. Check them out today. Go find that Bobby shirt because it's phenomenal. I'll post it in the Discord and on social media later. That's an insane comment for a kid to make. The fact that he wants to be coached by someone else that he's not currently committed to, that's nuts. I don't know that I've ever heard a kid that's being courted by one school say that when he's committed to another one. And I think that's a massive red flag if you're a Georgia fan, maybe a Garnet flag if you're an FSU fan, because he clearly values the relationships that he's got at FSU, and he clearly values the chance and the opportunity to potentially be a Florida State Seminole. This morning, 247 insider, national recruiting reporter, and writer Steve Wiltfong put in a crystal ball for Landen Thomas to flip from UGA to Florida State. We spoke about Steve at length last week in a Luke Krummenhoek video. I don't know if he is all the way back in Florida State fans' good graces, but I do think he's gone a long way to probably jump back into some favor there with Florida State fans. And I think it's pretty big. Steve Wiltfong is one of the absolute best when it comes to the crystal ball on 247. He doesn't miss. He's got well over a 90% all time. I think he's up over 99% for this class. He is really, really good and usually is one of the most plugged in people in college football recruiting. So I thought that was pretty impressive. When he put in that crystal ball, I decided to do some digging. I've been at about 65-35 Georgia on this thing. Even after the spring game, I really felt like this was Georgia's to lose. I still felt like they were in pole position just due to having the commitment. I really felt like I would need to see Landen Thomas take an official visit or show up to Tallahassee for me to say that the Noles were even 50-50. But after Fong's crystal ball, I did reach out to a couple of people that I believe are close to the program, close to the recruitment. And I think the Noles have a better chance to land Thomas right now than to not land him. I think even though he's not committed to Florida State, they probably are in pole position right now. I think it's very telling that he was on campus this weekend. I think it's telling that you're starting to see a lot more smoke. You're starting to see a lot more projections and predictions going the Noles' way. And I think that you have to officially put Landen Thomas on flip watch right now. I've been told there's not a specific timeline. This is something that could happen at absolutely any time. Could see it in the next week or so. It could be something that happens down the road after an official visit. But there is a confidence right now within the Florida State program that the Noles lead for this recruitment. There's a confidence nationally by guys like Steve Wiltfong and others who I've been told you may see some more predictions roll in on different sites for a flip by Landen Thomas from Georgia to Florida State. We've been talking about this really heavily in our Discord chat. You can join that chat for free by clicking the link above, or it's down in the description, but come hang out with us. We just went up over 1,000 members in the Discord chat this morning. Really fun to be able to interact with that many Noles and not have all the rival trolls and all the YouTube trolls and everything else that you might get on other social media. It's a pretty locked down platform, so we've enjoyed it. If you want to come hang out with us, you are more than welcome to. And we've been talking about that pretty heavily. There's also some exclusive chats that you can get by becoming a Patreon or a member of the channel, but not required. Just come hang out in the free chat with us if you'd like. If you want the exclusive stuff, I think it's like $3 or $4 a month. So come hang out with us. We talked about this, but as a prospect, Thomas moves so incredibly well. He's got a 6'6" wingspan. He's got a great catch radius, and his high school coaches described him as a phenomenal blocker, both in the run and the pass game. He's not only just a big pass-catching tight end. He's not only just a big playmaker, but he really does a great job of getting in there, doing the dirty work, doing what needs to be done for his team. Each and every play, whether that be blocking, taking the handoff, or catching the ball, he really is the total package. I mean, there's a reason he's a 5-star, right? Every year there's only 32 5-stars. I know there can be some discrepancy based on each recruiting site. You may have a couple more because there's some overlap, but at the end of the day, there's a reason that only about 30 kids every year get to that 5-star classification. I expect him to be a composite 5-star and an industry 5-star. He is really good. This would be a massive recruiting win for the Noles. Anytime you flip a 5-star or anytime you get a 5-star, it's a massive win. To take it from Kirby Smart, the best recruiter in the game right now, the #1 team in the country, back-to-back years, I think that speaks volumes. A kid that's in Georgia. I know that Tallahassee's got a pretty close proximity to where he's at, but I think, again, a kid in Georgia, a kid that's currently committed to UGA. You didn't go head-to-head on a battle there. You truly just flipped him from the top dogs. I think that's pretty impressive. Also, look what it does for the class itself. You've got 4-star, top 60 kid Luke Cromenholt committed. You've got a 5-star in Cam Davis committed. You've got really talented wide receivers committed, 4 of them right now. In fact, after the Noles picked up 2 this weekend, already had TJ Abrams and Camden Fryer there in the class. You probably lead for Jonathan Daniels, Jason Zandamela, and other offensive linemen. They're building a very elite offensive class in this 2024 cycle, and it's just going to continue to get better. There are other 5-stars that they are targeting at that wide receiver position. You think about JoJo Trader, you think about other guys that they're trying to get in. It's really special. We told you this would happen. We told you some of this recruiting momentum would start to take over after a big season. Mike Norvell is great with relationships. He's great at building and continuing to expound on those. And I do think that they end up getting Landen Thomas in this class. I'm probably at 65% FSU, which I've probably flipped that completely. I was probably at 65% Georgia before the weekend. There's a lot of momentum. There's a long way to go until he would potentially sign, but you'd certainly like to be leading from a pole position. And so the quicker that they can get the flip to happen, if it does end up happening, the better off the Noles will be. Once he flips back to the Noles, if that does happen, I don't anticipate him going back to UGA. I don't anticipate him going anywhere else. If you're able to flip a kid from Georgia, I think you're able to hold on to him, and he does become part of your 2024 signing class. What are your thoughts? Where are you guys at on this? Are you excited? Are you hyped up about it? Where do you think it lands? Where do you think he ends up? Is it Florida State? Does he stay with Georgia? Let me know down there in the comments. What jersey will Landen Thomas be wearing for the 2024 season? Well, if it's Florida State's, they're going to be brand new. And we told you all about that and maybe a little subtle shot at the ACC in a video we released yesterday. You can watch that by clicking right here.